Welcome everyone. We're here today to present you about our analysis of our report on the situation and recommending a course of action that align our mission, value, and the long-term business strategy of our company, Tesla. With that, let me introduce you to our members. We have 7 of members here. We have divided into 7 of content today. Moving on to our introduction. The primary objective of this report is to analyze the ethical dilemmas that are represented by Tesla autopilot system that in light of the implication of the user safety, cooperative responsibility, and the regulatory practices. We noted that with some key questions to address with our presentation as well. How can Tesla ensure the safe operation of an autopilot technology while promoting innovation? What responsibility does Tesla hold in educating user about the system? Lastly, how should ethical considerations shape the design of the implementation of autonomous driving technology? Tesla has emerged as a leader in the development of autonomous vehicle technologies, particularly with autopilot feature which is famous for a lot of users that they want to buy Tesla, which is aimed to reduce human error in driving. However, the technology has come under following a several high-profile incidents that have happened. In May 2016, an accident occurred for Joshua Brown. This accident highlighted the challenges of relying solely on the kind of technology, and it has raised significant ethical concerns regarding to the transparency of the technology as well, the user awareness and accountability of it. Tesla autopilot system, a revolutionary advancement in the realms of these technologies, have faced significant ethical challenges, particularly highlighted by this recent accident that have happened to Joshua Brown, who died while using the features autopilot. With that, the dilemmas have also concerned the balances between the promoting the usage of the technology, but with ensuring the safety and ethical responsibility associated with autonomous driving technology as well. Specifically, the challenges lie in how Tesla should modify the technology with more user training, system transparency, and growth rate. And with that, let Panya talk more about Tesla company mission and core value.
So let's talk about Tesla company vision and core value. So Tesla mission is to accelerate the world transition to sustainable energy. The simple statement drive everything the company does. Instead of just selling electric car, Tesla aims to replace gas power with oil and fossil fuel energy with clean alternatives like solar power. Their vision also for their mission is go beyond car. They want to create full ecosystem of sustainable energy products, including solar batteries and self-driving vehicles. Their core values. So for their core value is 1. Move fast. Tesla actively to solve problems. For example, they release software update over the internet to improve car safety or add new feature overnight. And second is do the impossibility. The company is core project both like building massive gigafactory to produce cheaper battery for their Tesla. And third is constantly innovate. Tesla isn't afraid to change its identity when they are self-driving car. We are to the handle new challenge, operate without hesitation. Fourth is think like owner. Employees are encouraged to make decisions that benefit Tesla long-term goal, not just short-term profit. Those values have Tesla stay ahead of traditional car company. So for the next point is importance of self-driving. So what that this feature can impact the Tesla. So what is new revenue stream? Full self-driving is free, so the customer has to pay month subscription for technology sensitive software. That the profit margin is over 90%, far higher than selling car. If most of the Tesla owner buy full self-driving, it could add billion to Tesla yearly income. And second one is feature business model. Tesla's plan to create robot taxi network where cars drive themselves as a taxi when owner unusing them. This could let people earn money from their car and reduce traffic density. For Tesla, it means earning come for every ride created. However, full self-driving is a perfect technology is still testing, and regulators are working closely after accident for Tesla system. If full self-driving for Tesla raises long customer trust and fall behind the competitor. So let's move on to the next one is what is stake. And for what stake is Tesla fusion depend on balancing the trust. So Tesla sets us as the self-driving technology is full self-driving cause accident or simply unreliable customer might slip through the computer. For example, US regulators are investigating hundreds of the crashes involved with Tesla's self-driving feature. Each incident damages the brand. And the second one is innovation leadership. Companies like Ford, Toyota are investing heavily in electric car and self-driving. Is Tesla full self-driving lag behind? They could lose their advantage worse if the other company release a better version. So let's talk about the strategy. So for the strategy is the customer. Tesla will now pay a premium for full self-driving if the lack of safety issue continue. They might get a refund or soon. And for the investor, shareholder want to profit from full self-driving subscription is the tip, and the Tesla stock will drop. And for the third one is government. My ban full self-driving is it seems unsafe particular. For identical definition of ethical issue, without we are present to about it.
So let's move to an definition of ethical issue. Now let's talk about the ethical dilemma. So Tesla is facing an ethical dilemma of between either it keep pushing forward with improving self-driving somewhere that is not fully safety or tested yet, in order to maintain the market over other company, or they should take a step back and slow down to address the problem such as the safety problem in the product and transparency to be honest more with their customer. That is highly impacting the customer, regulator, and stakeholders that involved with Tesla. So with the release of full self-driving, there are some ethical issues that we have found related to the Tesla AI is the bias that is likely to detect the field for people equally. This means that the AI might detect a certain group of people better with their unique characteristics or their type. That will move to the next one is testing transparency. So Tesla is might be using the driver as tester, but the tester might not realize what the microaccess info and what the reason might. Basically, Tesla might not be clear and carry some information about the system that they are not ready to release to the public, but they want to test out. They don't want to test the driver, so it may put the driver in a lot more risk. And we move to whistleblower. So the whistleblower that have come out and that has speak up and raised concern of Tesla in the way that they handling the safety and the testing process and the procedure in the fully self-driving car, in which Tesla need to be more clear and honest with the people as well as their consumer with their practices. Organizations like Tesla as a company that value innovation and new technology as well as their speed to maintain the gap in the market instead of their competition. But by doing so, Tesla might overlook some more important things like the safety and the accountability as well as the responsibility that innovation might cost the consumer. And we move to personal value. So probably they have their own ethic and their own belief. So the employee or worker in Tesla, they might value safety and honesty more rather than the profit that come with it. Organizational value, we see that Tesla as a company, they value innovation and technology and improvement, and the gap of the competition in the market. But while doing so, Tesla might overlook some more important things like the safety of the system and the accountability and the other problems that they might cause to the consumer. So the Tesla employee, they have their own personal belief and their ethics. So the employee, they might value more on the safety of the system and be more honest to the consumer and public, in which it might not align with the company goals. So there might be some internal conflict between the employee and the company. And so basically the deployment of SSD, we can see the proper safety of testing. We can see that Tesla could get into a lot of legal this endeavor is so like they could get found by lawsuit by consumer, they could get found or they even could get penalty from the government if their system were found out not to be safe for consumer and for the public. That includes also risk. If the test market they are satisfied, they are full self-driving program is to have any estimate of failure that is being informed and by respect to all the general, so the public might be losing their trust in the company or control as the autonomous. So let's move to the next point is potential risk. So for legal risk, so if the SFB is released and it is not fully scientifically tested and our user have user consent, so it could lead to lawsuit if Tesla get impact or even penalty. Then we move to the next one of potential for legal decision. If the SFB is not being fully tested and safe for consumer, it may lead to lawsuit if the Tesla may be get fined and even government penalty is possible if they find out that the SFB is not fully safe for consumer to use. Then we move to social result. If there a widespread report that there is a problem related to SFB of Tesla that they have recorded that there are crashes or there are somewhere failure, it could lead to the public decreasing of the trust in the company as well as in the SFB autonomous driving as a whole. And then we move to reputational risk. So they could see that Tesla they value more on value or focus more on their profit, their speed rather than safety and the performance of their SFB program instead of the user and their public safety. And then we move to the next point of ethical analysis.
Now let's go to the identify stakeholders. So within this application, the identifier stakeholder that will be getting attacked by this ethical issue. First and foremost is Tesla company, its product itself, that include the product capacity, Vedak, the entire company, include their reputation, their financial stability, and moving to their employee, include their moral, ethical integrity, and job security. The essential stakeholder is Tesla FSD, Vedak user, is a Tesla customer that will be impacted in this issue and also the user of the FSD data technology. Followed by the Tesla investor is the one who will be invested in the Tesla product in the long term, and we have also general public, which include the passenger, other vehicle, pedestrian, cyclists, and anyone who is sharing the road with Tesla vehicle using FSD data. Lastly is our public asset or infrastructure that include road, traffic signal, and other publicly owned property and that could be damaged in the accident. Now let's move to our ethical analysis. So our first ethical framework is utilitarianism. So utilitarianism is to predict and expect to maximize the greatest overall by accelerating the development of safer autonomous vehicle. The strategy of Tesla product is to leverage the real-world data for faster AI learning, aiming for the significant reduction in the accidents and enhance the societal benefit. However, this approach could also introduce a short-term risk, which is unexpected accident due to the bug and lack of transparency in updation and validations, and could be harm to a smaller group that is an early adopter. Which all of these short-term risks could be getting to the wider harm also, which could damage to the Tesla reputations. When there is a Tesla reputation or incidents, Tesla will be damaged their reputation, and also the trust between the user and the public will be decreased to the for the Tesla product as well, which also impacts the financial stability by dropping the stock, which also makes the investor go down as well. Beyond that, the people that most directly affected is the Tesla user, as the one who could experience the injury. Furthermore, as an accident can lead, also there will be a damage of the public infrastructure accident site, also imposing cost and inconvenience on the wider community. So as a Tesla responsibility, to prioritize transparency regarding the limitation and potential risk of each update, implement the careful and comprehensive validation process before deployment, and also need to communicate with all the stakeholders
solutions and internal options. I'll be covering 3 options for this case study. Firstly, is Tesla to delay the full self-driving data release until safety and fairness concerns are resolved. Firstly, let's talk about the ethical concerns addressed for this option, where the AI bias is tackled directly by improving the test quality and fairness development into the real world. Next is the transparency issues are also resolved, including with the whistleblower and regulatory is also more prioritized and respected. Moving on to the benefits of this option is firstly, there is public safety for the drivers, and the company can also build trust by demonstrating that the company has a commitment and responsibility to this new innovation. And also a regulatory alignment that avoid fines and lawsuits, and also we can build a long-term brand value where it strengthens the company reputation. Even though there was benefits, there are also some drawbacks, such as delaying the product launch, also postpone the release of the innovation, and some financial impact, and by delaying this, the innovative idea, it also has some competitive risk. And the alignment with the Tesla mission value is showing that they have a commitment and responsibility for this innovative, even though they have to delay their innovative idea. The next option, limited release with full transparency and oversight. For the ethical concern here is that the AI bias is that it's not immediately eliminated, but it's limited to only a small group of users. And the transparency is that it's improved through public talk and also data shared with people. And for the benefits of limited release to a small group of people is that they still continue progress with an innovative idea, but it also reduces the harm by restricting some access to those limited users, and it also gives some public engagement as it builds trust by limiting the perfections and accountability to users. And also it gives a strategic advantage as it allows the company to debug the system while still giving it use. Next is the drawbacks. For this option, it gives some perception risk. The public and media may interpret the transparency report as an admission of failure, and the customer has some frustration as they only have limited access. And also some operational costs as it requires resources to maintain the oversight and feedback from those users. And since there are only limited users, it also gives limited data. Unlimited data. And the alignment of the Tesla mission and value for this option is that this approach will only reflect the company's intention of an innovation-driven culture, while also balancing the growth of the idea with the exception of ethical responsibility and support to the censorship engine. Moving on to the third option, which is proceed with full release, but also act the post-launch oversight and also fixes. The ethical concerns for this is that the AI bias and the safety risks are not fully resolved before release, but Tesla commits to fixing them after deployment. And the transparency is still limited, but the improvements are promised to users. The whistleblower concerns are managed fully and internally with the accountability. For the benefits for this option, it's a fast market penetration as it's an innovative idea, and the company maintains competitive edges over other full self-driving innovation. It also generates revenue immediately, and it also gives real-time feedback, and it satisfies other shareholders. And for moving on to drawbacks for this option is that it's also a high risk, high ethical risk, and this risk could also lead to a trust erosion where if this accident occurs, then trust within the shareholder and the company itself and even the customer will be lost. And that could also lead to reputational damage and regulatory consequences. And the alignment of the company's mission value is that the option that aligns with the innovation idea of Tesla, and also with the public commitment to the safety of sustainability of energy, and it prioritizes short-term gains over long-term trust, which would make the company go from a big leader of autonomous driving to a emerging technology. Okay, so moving on to the next slide, we should talk about the final recommendation of the presented.
Point of recommendation is to delay the release of the FSD beta update. This delay is not indefined, but should last until all the ethical and safety concerns are truly addressed. By doing so, Tesla can ensure that the technology meets the highest standard of safety, fairness, and reliability. To resolve the concern, we propose a multi-step approach by implementing mandatory training for users to understand the full self-driving feature, limitations, and the need of the constant driver alone. Provide accessible material outline safety practice and the driver responsibility. Publish detail about the training data to clarify how it influences the system decisions, especially regarding the diverse conditions. Work openly with regulator to shape safety standard and ensure accountability, and continue to evaluate the system safety and ethical compliance, driving ongoing improvement. So this action will ensure that when a FSD is released, it's not only innovative but also safe and fair. Now, let's discuss why this is the right choice from an ethical standpoint. Our recommendation is grounded in Kantian ethics, which emphasizes treating all individuals as ends in themselves and not as a means to an end. By laying the release, Tesla respects the safety and dignity of the driver, pedestrian, and all road rather than prioritize market leadership or release it. Releasing a system with unknown bias or safety flaw will violate the duty to avoid harm and just be more transparency, especially regarding the data and testing internet. It's moral and cooperative. Addressing this issue head-on ensure Tesla acts with integrity, aligning with fundamental ethical principles. So this decision aligned with the Tesla long-term goal. The Tesla brand is built on innovations, but also on safety and sustainability. Deleting a flawed FSD could lead to an accident, lawsuit, or regulatory crackdown. This all damages public trust and Tesla market position. By laying the Tesla demonstrate that global safety and ethics over short-term gain, reinforcing reputation as a responsible leader. Furthermore, addressing the whistleblower concern expanding Tesla internal culture. Fostering an environment where ethical issues are taken seriously, a critical asset for a sustainable innovations. For long-term impacts, the long-term benefit of this approach actually first is wider catastrophic risk of releasing a unsafe technology, loss of life, legal liability, and reputational damage. This consequence will far outweigh any short-term advantage of an early release. Second, by prioritizing safety and fairness, Tesla builds lasting trust with customer, regulator, which is essential for the widespread adoption of a autonomous vehicle. Finally, this decision positions Tesla as a pioneer in responsibility innovation, setting a standard for the entire industry and ensuring that technological advancement are groundbreaking and internal ethical. For the last part of the report, we'll hand on by our last member.
So this is come to the conclusion of our analysis. So this case teaches us about AI in business as in many different ways. First is ethics first. It's important to put ethics first in everything that we do. Like in this context in a business, ethics must guide all state of AI application. Meanwhile, from the marketing to the development or deployment process, ethics should be considered first. As an employer and a company, we should always ask that what is the right thing that we can do rather than just asking them can we do it. So the second one is there's a lesson learned that innovation without responsibility can harm public trust and human life. Because just like in this case, regulating over ethics can also harm people's life that we have all known in this study. Last but not least is ethical framework and policy are essential for safe and sustainable AI use. It's important to set a goal of ethical framework and analysis in the goal so that it can help people in the long run. So how can the company such as Tesla can balance technology and responsibility? So we have three reasons for that. The first one is to set and enforce clear AI ethics policy. Not only set but also enforcing in the company, which is Tesla itself, to ensure that there is no further damage over the company. Ensure all stakeholders are accountable. Every stakeholder should be having the accountability to be responsible of the action that they did or what they have contributed to. Fostering ethical thinking. By setting and enforcing and ensuring all stakeholders are accountable, we should also keep the ethical thinking forget about ethics, it can also do the opposite and hurt people instead. In terms of professional safety, it has taught us that we need to include ethics in every step in our work. As a part of Tesla company, we understand that innovation is important, but it must also go hand in hand with doing the right thing. By staying true to our value and mission, we can make sure the technology we build is safe, helpful, and used in the right way for people and the planet. And this comes to the end of our analysis of this case study. We hope you understand this more